Hey kids, CGX here. Still working on that Rolife arcade dating Booknook, and just wanted to show you some of the progress I've made and get back into it. Alright, I'm going handheld for this segment, so I apologize if it's a little unsteady. I'll do my best to try to hold it steady. This is my progress so far. This piece here was what I had started on in the previous video, and as you can now see, it became a pillar supporting a bookshelf. This will become the bookstore on one side of the arcade. So this is the floor of the arcade, the pavement, I guess. That's the bookshelf, and you can see. Well, maybe you can't tell from the video, but it's actually a pretty solid construction. I'm impressed with the way it snaps together. Never mind the TV and stuff in the background. I'm obviously working in my living room. The bookshelf itself was kind of an interesting job. These books on the end, I'm hoping this is in focus. These are individual little blocks, and I had to actually wrap those with a decal like that to create the cover of the book. The strange thing is, I only had to do that with these individual books, and with this little block right here, these shelves were already pre-printed. And I'm not quite sure why Rolife would do it that way rather than have it all pre-printed or all requiring decals. But it's kind of an interesting little detail, I thought. And also, this amused me. I mentioned in the previous video that I am a Hemingway fan, and that this project is going to end up on my Hemingway shelf. So notice the book here, The Elderly and Sailboats. The Old Man and the Sea? I'm thinking so. One other thing that's kind of interesting, if you notice, here's the front cover of these books. The spine, obviously, and then the back. They're backwards. They are left to right, or right to left, I guess. Similar to Japanese manga, if you're familiar with that. And I'm guessing that that's because Rolife, as I mentioned before, is a Chinese company. Now, I don't know if Chinese books are like Japanese books, but it seems like a good bet. In any event, I thought that was kind of an interesting detail. All right. I will go mount the phone to a tripod now, and let's do some work. Okay, the next step in construction here is the door of the shop, which will get a little window in it. And here we're working with one of these transparent pieces. According to the instructions, I need to affix that to the door with some little adhesive strips. Now earlier, there we go again. I've got a little problem with these sticky dots that were included in the set. They're sticking to everything, as you can see on my knife here. And earlier they were actually stuck on one of these adhesive sheets, and I think I think these sheets are okay. The dots, I might have to find an alternative to those when I get around to actually using them. Because by then, right now they're sticking to everything. By the time I get around to using them, we'll see if they'll stick to anything. So, need to keep that up there out of the way. Alright, so for the door here, we need piece K3, which is this one. Hopefully you can see that. That is not... Oh, there it goes. I was going to say, that's not popping off as easily as I would have hoped. I'm not too sure about using these little plastic strips like this. I almost wish they were more, just a thicker plastic like you see in, in model airplane kits, for instance. I'm not sure why they decided to go with this thing, but here we go. Okay. Now, I actually cheated a little bit and watched somebody else's construction video to see how this was done, because I wasn't quite certain. And hopefully I'll get it right. So I need a medium length strip. That goes along the side of the window space. These fancy tweezers, I actually purchased these for my wife about a year ago when she was laid up after a surgery, and to help her pass the time, I bought her a couple of little model kits. She built a pair of ornithopters and a spice harvester from Denis Villeneuve's Dune movie. They're sitting over yonder. Maybe I'll show you those later. So this part is fairly easy. What I'm worried about is peeling the paper off of this adhesive, because it's two-sided, and I think that's probably going to be a bit of a problem getting that paper off. We'll find out. Hopefully not. So let's see. There is a protective layer over the glass. Peel that off. Okay. Alright, that wasn't too bad. I don't know if the adhesive shows there. And I'm assuming the little markings there are to help you line up the window. I always get very nervous doing this because I feel like if I screw up, there's no taking it back. Alright, come on, buddy. I need to make the decision whether I'm going to swear in these videos or not, because my natural inclination is to cuss a blue streak right now. And there we go. One door. The Passage des Panoramas. Yes, I know my French is terrible. All right. Okay, we checked the instructions. That attaches to another of these little wooden pieces, A4. So I need to find that. Ah. A4. Pops off just like that. Hit the sandpaper a little. Yeah, rubbing that with my band-aided finger does not work very well. Okay, the instructions have these little exclamation points sometimes to call your attention to stuff. In this case, it is an arrow stamped into the wood, pointing in a particular direction, making sure you attach the door in the proper hole. It looks like that goes through here. And then that attaches to a corresponding hole here in the floor of the arcade. Like so. Okay, in our next step, we assemble more bookshelves. So in the previous video, I mentioned that I had ordered this set direct from the manufacturer, direct from China. And someone has asked me why I did that rather than buying it through Amazon. There was no cost savings in this case. It's just a little quirk of mine. I like to get it from the original manufacturer, so I kind of have a better idea of what I'm getting, I guess. Trust issues. That plus I was honestly just kind of curious to see what it would be like to order something direct from China. I've never done that before. The experience, like I mentioned, went quite smoothly. The package arrived with no damage. The shipping charges were shockingly low considering it's coming from the other side of the world. But of course that was all, that was last April. And there have been a lot of changes in the world since then. Tariffs and trade deals. And I won't comment on that too much other than just to say I don't know if that would still be as smooth as it was a year ago. All right. So, Aktun, another arrow. Bookshelves attach in these holes. One thing, I wish the steps in these instructions were numbered, as I'm not certain what order I'm supposed to be putting these pieces together. Maybe it's not important, but it is something I wonder about. Kind of a satisfying snap, isn't it? Oh, that's a problem. I just broke the damn thing. All right. Well, gonna have to figure out what to do about that. So, I will stop the video for now, and we'll come back to it. Okay, I have glued the piece I just broke back together. I'm going to try some good old-fashioned Elmer's. We'll see if that's good enough to hold. It's currently drying. We'll give that a half hour or so and see what it does. If that doesn't work, I might try some Gorilla Glue. I'm not sure how important it might be, other than I don't think this is a load-bearing structure, other than, you know, I just want it to be right. But we'll let the glue dry, see what happens. I may need to try some different glue. In the meantime, I'm going to forge ahead and put together a few more pieces. And right now we are creating some more books, which are crafted from these little teeny pieces here. Like I said, you put decals over those. This book is interesting. It must be a Stephen King book or something, because it's double size. And in order to make that work, I am supposed to put another one of these glue strips between them to hold those together. So, back to the tweezers. Let's see how this goes. This particular strip had slid off the sheet a little bit, so it may no longer be tacky enough to work. And it does not appear to be inclined to stick down. Yeah, that's not working. Alright. I'll try another one here. I may have to get a glue stick or something for this piece. I'll try to line these up because I don't want a lopsided book. Guess I could just say that it got dropped in the bath or something. All right. One double-sized doorstop tome. Now that gets a decal applied to it to make the cover. That is H20. As you can see, stick one face down and then it just wraps around, which I guess is like an actual dust cover. And once again, it's backwards to our Western eyes. Front, spine, back. Something called Always on the Road, Silent Night. Ooh. Probably bestseller there. Okay, looks like I've got 3 more of these to make. So I'll fast forward through these because it's probably not too interesting to watch. Alright, there is a little nub here, if you can see that. that the sandpaper doesn't seem to want to reach. So I'm going to go see if I can find a fingernail file or something that will get in there and deal with that. All right, I was hoping to find an emery board, but naturally I couldn't. So necessity is the mother of invention. We have nail clippers with a file. I'll see what that does. And that did the trick. Hopefully I haven't defaced the doorway too much there. Okay, there are just a few more pieces to go on this, which is the outer wall of the bookstore here. And then I'm going to call it quits for today. But we'll stick on a few more pieces first. So we got A17. The A's are this dark wood. Alright. And then these get some decals that go around them, it looks like. Looks pretty good. And same thing on the other side. You know, I think I understand now the appeal of doll houses or model train sets or anything like that. You have a little miniature world that you control, and it also allows you to own things that maybe you never could in real life. Like, I've often thought it would be nice to have a bookstore, but of course I'm never going to actually invest in one. But here I have one. Okay, I'm still waiting on the glue to dry on that other piece. It's getting late in the day. I'm starting to lose my light. I work by natural daylight. And I need to take an afternoon walk. So I think we'll call it good on this video. I'll see you soon.